UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the United Federation of Podcast Network. I'm your host for today, Chrissy, and joining me are my co-hosts, Thad and Brandon. Thad, how are you today?
I'm pretty good.
And Brandon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. I'm going to need some tea. Earl Grey, piping hot.
See, unfortunately, mine was sitting around, and now it's unfortunately turned into tea Earl Grey cold.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone's chasing you around with it.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that. All right, so we're going to talk about Picard today. Before we get into that, we'd just like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make this show possible, particularly our associate producers, Justin Oser and David Willett. Listeners, we would love to add your name to this list, and we can do that with your monthly subscription of just $10 at patreon.com/UFPEarth. So, we're going to jump right into our topic of the first episode of Season 2 of Picard, because this is all we have been wanting to talk about for days. Not that we didn't love Discovery. Go listen to that. We want to talk about this more. So, as we always start with what our initial thoughts and feelings are on this one, Brandon, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Holy shit. This is the Star Trek that I've been waiting for. This is it. I hope the season lives up to this. This is what I've been wanting for the past 5 years. Is this. Thank you.
You know, I think
awesome.
I think the last time I heard you say "holy shit" like that, Brandon, was when we were in a crowded room and
it was
they
in
announced
reference
the
to
show.
Picard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go look for that on YouTube.
If you go to that
listeners.
YouTube video when Patrick Stewart comes out to make the announcement, that's me in the video. So
Which
right
is
next
pretty
to
awesome.
Thad.
All right. Okay. Well, that's a good initial thought. Hard to follow up on that, but Thad.
That was freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my
awesome.
initial thought. Is it was awesome. It is. I would say, it feels like the show I wanted Season 1 to be. And I did enjoy a lot of aspects of Season 1. I also had some issues with Season 1. But this one feels more, in ways that I'm not sure I can fully quantify, feels more like a continuation of the Star Trek that I know, whereas Season 1 of Picard felt more like its own animal, which isn't necessarily bad, but this definitely feels more tied and rooted in 90s Star Trek to me.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys got the impression, but to me, this felt so much more like a movie, though, as well.
Yes.
And there was like a couple specific shots, like in particular when Girardi is coming out of the turbo lift. I'm like, it just was, the way that it was done just felt so cinematic. Stuff that was happening on the bridge felt so cinematic. This felt like the first hour of a movie to me. So I'm glad you guys felt that too. Chrissy, what about you? What are your initial thoughts on this?
That was fantastic. Before it goes out of my head, I think part of the reason you felt like that was a movie, I can't remember if it was in that, or it was movie-like, and I can't remember if it was in that part or some other point on the Stargazer, but they were playing, it wasn't the Next Gen theme, it was the overture from Motion Picture.
Yes, it was.
Which is the Next Gen theme, but, it was a little slower, and it was
also the theme
bigger.
to Star Trek V.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, that's obviously where it's known from, of all of those things. So I think that's part of what gave it that feel, because that's a piece of music played in a way that we're accustomed to hearing attached to a movie as opposed to a show. But I might just be reading
There were
into
also
No.
hints of the First Contact theme in the score at times, too.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I didn't catch that, but of course. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, I want the rest of this right now. Let's just go get the rest of the story right now and watch it. It's actually probably a good thing that it's not all available to just sit and binge, because I have things
I would have watched it 4 times.
I would have sat there and binged.
I just
Yes,
would have gotten
it's great.
diapers and just dealt with it, right? And
Oh,
just
God,
gone through it
Brendan.
for like 3 days straight.
Well, I don't think that's quite where I'm at, but, to each their
Diapers.
own. Okay.
Diapers, Jolt, and Cheetos chopped up so I could just snort them.
That's,
That is an image I didn't really need in my head, but thank you for that.
Nope. And I also feel like at the end of that, you would have been watching a completely different show than the rest of us, and it wouldn't have been duplicatable at all. All right. So we start out. Oh, first of all, how wonderful is it that Star Trek now has enough money to get the rights to play songs that aren't in the public domain? Yay!
Yes.
So we start out on the vineyard. It is Harvest Day, which apparently now, with all of what Robert would have called the infernal technology, can all be done in one day.
They're beaming away the
Yeah,
grapes.
Robert
Yes.
is... Robert's charred body is rolling over in its grave.
Oh, God. Oh. And there was... One of the stills was of Laris actually, like, crushing the grapes, but I didn't remember seeing that in the episode.
I don't think it was in the
No, it
episode.
was-
I think that was just a promotional
but that was
still.
kind of cool. That was kind of cool. So, so we're back in the vineyard. We're making wine. Everything seems happy. The music's pretty happy. Although, isn't that the music from, like, is it Seven or something? There's, like, a serial killer movie that uses that piece of music by a different artist.
I don't think it was 7.
No. Okay.
No.
Yeah. So, we start back at the vineyard. Who's on Team Jean Laris?
Well, right now I'm saying not me because Jean-Luc's a fool and he doesn't deserve her.
I like
that.
Jean
Okay.
Laris though. I like that should be the name for the ship. Jean Laris. Yeah, I like it because the
Yeah.
L. Yeah,
Well,
it's better than Jairus.
thank you.
Jairus.
Oh, no, that doesn't work.
Or Lon Luke.
It's Jean and then something that starts with an L. I mean, how is
Yeah.
that not anything other than Jean Laris? Anyway, what are you thinking about that, Thad?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Brandon that he doesn't deserve her, but I also don't think it'll happen. Sadly.
No.
But yeah, I mean, he is a fool because I would have. Just saying.
I that made me cringe both times I watched it.
Yeah.
I was just like, no. And that it connected
don't want
into...
it?
No, I
didn't
don't
want
think
it?
that's a good No, I don't think they're... And here's why. Okay. Last season, I felt like she was functioning in that realm of I'm your wife who's also your maid. And she's still functioning in that realm. And nobody needs to do that. When she was chasing him around with the cup of tea and knew exactly where the book was that he wanted, I went, no.
Okay.
No, when has he ever done anything like that for you? He hasn't. So.
Interesting. Well, I mean, she is. I don't like. How does this work? Is she his employee?
I assume yes.
I thought so.
Because he saved them. Like we got them in the comic, right? That one Picard comic, right? And they were they Jat Vache or were they?
They were Tal
They were
Shiar.
Tal Shiar.
Tal Shiar. Okay,
Yeah.
Tal Shiar. So they were Tal Shiar, and they were on this planet that Picard went to try and save them or whatever, evacuate them and whatnot. But I guess when they came back to live on Earth, I guess we don't really know much more of that story yet, do we? About how they got there and what they are for them. Are they just there to serve him? That's what I got the impression of too. So I guess I can see what you're saying there, Chrissy.
Well, I would like to think that if they did, if they had gone forward, that they would have become like equals in the whole thing, and they would hire someone else to do her.
Yeah, I think what happened was he brought them over because they had the knowledge about the wine from the Romulan planet, if I'm remembering correctly from the comic. And then I think what happened was he was getting older and not functioning as well, and they were starting to take on caregiver responsibilities, not necessarily as a job, but just as a somebody needs to be helping him kind of thing, and we happen to live here. That's how I read it.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
And now that he's a robot, right?
But he's a robot that's still going to die, so...
Yeah, but he's not as frail as he was,
That's
though, right?
true,
I
in
guess.
theory.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, to put a comparison, I mean, like, when I was getting up at work at the same time as my wife and whatnot, I would make coffee in the morning, and I would bring my wife a coffee while she was getting ready for the day in the bathroom, and it would make her very happy when I did that, right?
That's a very nice thing to do, yes.
So I would make it, I would pour her creamer in and stir it up and bring it up to her, and she'd be like, "Oh, thank you," and she'd be all happy and whatnot. So,
Picard didn't do that.
No,
he took it
but
from
she
her
did
as if it was expected.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I can see that.
I'm not saying it's bad to do things for people. That's a wonderful thing to do, and it's an act of love to bring your partner a cup of coffee in the morning, especially if they really need it. And because when Jay does that for me, I'm greatly appreciative. But there's got to be the recompense.
Gotcha.
See, so I guess the way that I'm going to interpret this is that she made the move the night before, and he stonewalled it. So then she went back to whatever her place is.
That's how I read it too.
Relationship they had before, right? So she tried to get beyond that, right? So, which this whole thing of we love and then we love even deeper with the next person was interesting. So
honor someone by finding someone that you can love just as well. I can get that.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I think that if you think about it, it's similar to how like some of the cliches that we talk about with just our normal society. Like people will always say your dead partner wouldn't want you to live in grief. They'd want you to move on and be happy. So that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so listeners, we're interested who's on Team Jean Laris and who's not, and why.
Jabin's died, though. What the hell?
Off screen.
Well,
Jabon's just gone.
For this.
Yeah. Like, do we know anything about the character or the actor? I mean, the actor? Did anything happen to this guy? Why didn't they bring him back?
Because of the story.
Okay.
Well, the question is, will Jabon always be gone? So, like, we don't know for sure what's happening in the season, but we know enough from the trailers and what they've told that there's time travel involved.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the season, is Jabon going to still be dead? Or will have changes to the timeline made it so that he's still alive?
I would say yes, because, like with jumping ahead, I mean, the end of the episode, Picard blows up his ship and whatnot, and Q saves him and says, this is the end of the road not taken, right? Which, I mean, like, this has so many interesting ideas of where this could be, because, like, if this is the road not taken, like, why would Picard have wanted to take in that road? It looks like the mirror universe, right? Like, he looks, so, I mean, I'm jumping ahead of our discussion here, but,
no, sorry.
Like, obviously Picard is probably not going to want to get to that timeline. Earth is surrounded by, like, some type of a temporal shield or weather shield or something like that, so I don't know. I don't want to jump ahead too far, but...
Okay. Yeah, let's go from the depressing of what the world is now to what did Picard grow up with. We got some very interesting information about Picard's childhood.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the first thing that I want to say, just because it's one of those things where I guess I'm a fan who just assumed things that I should never assume with Star Trek. But I always was under the impression that the Picard winery had been in the family for generations, plural.
Yes.
I thought so as well.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not complaining about it, but it's like I was clearly under the impression that this was there for generations upon generations. So,
and I thought about this too. And here's the thing: we don't know why they're moving there. It is entirely possible that Grandpa Picard just died, and that's why they're moving there.
That's a good point.
Okay.
So, the only reason that I kind of like the idea that it started with Maurice is because that explains why they didn't use Chateau Picard for the christening of the Enterprise B. But
okay, so I'm going to say no, I don't think so, because if it was the grandpa, he probably would have visited it at least at one point. Probably.
I don't think... To me, there was nothing in there that inferred that they hadn't. It was just Jean-Luc does not want to live here. and he's 8, and for some reason dressed like it's 1935, but we won't even get into that one. Yeah, I didn't get it. It was, I don't want to live here, and his mother saying it's going to be better living here.
So I'm thinking that when we're going to get along with this plot point here, I'm thinking that this is a plot point that Patrick Stewart himself has asked to have put in this. And I got, because of his story of his abusive father, right? So his father was abusive to his mother, and that's where I'm guessing this story is going to be going, is we're going to find out that Picard's father was abusive to Picard's mother. So I think this is something that he wanted to put in the story.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I got that impression immediately.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the advocacy with the bulldog on a totally different level. I never considered that humans in the 24th century, 23rd century, when he was born, that kind of thing would be going on, that humans would tolerate it, that there would be a reason, you're in a moneyless society, so, or at least a post-scarcity society, so you're not in a situation where you have to stay with an abusive partner. This is going to give us a lot of interesting things to explore about that society, and I am looking forward to seeing that. Unfortunately, how it's going to play out is going to be difficult to watch, but it'll be interesting.
So, there are many reasons people stay with abusive relationships, and it's not always because they can't get out of it. Sometimes, there are a lot of times people will stay simply because they do love the person, they think they can make it work, etc. So, I think it certainly could still happen in the 24th century, but my thought process on that is we should have much better mental health, that we should be able to treat this sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I guess I was coming at it from the idea of, it often feels like when you hear stories about this, or people who've gone through this, it's because at some point there was a lack of giving them a sense of self-worth. And so I guess I felt like the 24th century, it's like, this is post-scarcity, you can do anything you want, you can be anything you want. But of course that wouldn't necessarily be true, and I guess I never went there with it. So like I said, this is going to be, it's a good point that you bring up, because it's not just that. I tend to go there, but because that's historically a very consistent reason for women to stay in these relationships. But that's not, certainly, men aren't the only ones who can be abusive, and it's not always about the money. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Like, it's an interesting thing to just drop into this episode, so it's clearly going to be very important, right? And kind of jumping ahead a little bit as well. This is, I think, the story that he doesn't want to tell Guinan.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And I think this is going to add some interesting context to the Picard character.
Yeah. Yeah, and we might even be able to take this a step further as to why he's so uncomfortable with children, why he never wanted to marry and be a father for fear of turning into his father, maybe. As irrational as that may seem.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I'm intrigued with this. But I'm more intrigued with, so do you think that this destroyed room is because of the fire?
Yes.
Like all the shattered glass and whatnot?
My guess is...
So nobody's fixed this place up after the fire. Because I thought his wife was still alive, and she was running the place. I don't know, I just got that impression that that's what she would do.
She was.
Is that ever said in the movies or the show?
I think it's just
that's
in the
just
books.
in the novels.
Yeah. Right.
She wasn't killed, though. We do know that.
Well, yes. Well,
in the fire.
Right, but we don't know that she stayed on and ran the place. That's only from the novels.
Right. But Picard is living there again, so
my thought... I have a thought on this.
He's on the property. Okay, go ahead.
Because that room in particular was the room that he has special memories with his mother, where they painted the windows and did all those things. He doesn't want to clean it up.
Yeah. And we don't know what state that was in before the fire.
That's also true.
We don't know where it is in relation to the house, if it's attached to the house, and we don't know if it was destroyed and left before the fire, or if it was something like Robert was the kind of guy that you could see where it was like, oh, that was a place where Jean-Luc spent all the time with, Mom, and I'm just not going to fix it up because of that. You could see him doing that, and then Jean-Luc coming in and just leaving it that way because he doesn't want to go through the emotional process involved in that. So,
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot to come with that. I don't know if we can say more about it now, other than this is definitely coming out of Patrick Stewart's advocacy, and I'm glad to see that. Right, so then next we go to... is there anything else you guys wanted to say about that?
No, I'm good.
No? Okay. So next we head over to the Academy, and we see this scene where he was giving the speech that... I don't know, it seemed like we all thought that was going to be in some other timeline, and it turned out it was in this one.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
It was the comm badge that made us think it was a different timeline.
Yeah. And the Bajoran and Klingon flags. So have we established now that they're part of the Federation, or are we just saying that they have students at the Academy?
I don't know that they're necessarily part of the Federation, because the Romulans aren't part of the Federation, but there's a Romulan flag because Elnor's in the Academy. So it could just be because there are... I think the Bajorans are in the Federation. I think we've already established that somewhere else. But maybe we didn't? I'm not sure.
I don't think we have.
Not on screen.
Okay.
Again, books.
Yeah,
yes.
I've read too many books. Darn it.
I know, me too.
I believe, though, it would make sense for the Bajorans to be a part of the Federation. My guess is the Klingons are not, but there are probably just Klingons in Starfleet Academy.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be. Did that place not look like the one from 2009?
It did.
Yes.
That gave
Probably
me
was.
2009 vibes.
Yeah, very well could have been the exact same place.
Yeah. The true final frontier is time. Is where he goes with what he ends that speech with.
Well, they say time is the fire in which we burn.
I prefer to think time is the friend that travels along with us.
Didn't he learn this from Soren, right? But I mean, that is kind of on the nose for what's going on in the season this time around, I suppose. But
what if instead of a speech, he was just standing in front of them doing a 3D crossword puzzle, and the answer was time, and he just typed it in and turned it around and showed it to everybody?
When he was writing the speech, Laris did that to him.
Oh yeah, there we go. That makes sense.
At the chateau.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do we think about seeing Picard as Commandant of the Academy and, all this new position that he's taken?
Weird that the Chancellor of the Academy gets their own comm badge.
Was it that different?
It was different than everyone else's, yeah. I feel like he would just have, another Starfleet comm badge. But, then they had to, make this part of the thing where he gets the Starfleet comm badge later.
Well, Girardi had a civilian-style comm badge that she was able to use.
That's true. So, okay. So I guess it's just...
Yeah.
But, but his still had a delta in it. That's why it's... I would just assume that the Chancellor of Starfleet Academy would just have a regular Starfleet comm badge.
Yeah. But he's also an admiral.
Yeah.
So maybe, or maybe he's just I'm in charge of the Academy. I can use whatever comm badge I want. Because it looked to me...
Make me a comm badge.
Yeah. It looked to me like the captain's bars from the Monster Maroons turned into a comm badge. Mm-hmm. So if it's just a matter of putting the little, whatever the Federation equivalent of a Bluetooth chip is in something, then you can make anything a comm badge.
True.
I thought it was interesting that Picard is back in Starfleet. We're at a whole new spot. This is a whole new show. This very interesting position that all these characters are in.
Yeah, a lot happened in that year and a half between the end of season 1 and this one. Because Picard's not the only one back in Starfleet. Rios and Raffi are too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really super surprised for Rios to be there. Raffi, I guess I could kind of understand because it's going to give her some focus. But Rios, that's very surprising.
Yeah, you definitely get the impression from Rios in season 1 that he is completely done with Starfleet. But
yes, and from if you take the book into account about him, which I know we're not supposed to, but you also get the impression
really
that Starfleet
good
is done
book,
with
though.
him. It is a good book. So,
See, speaking of books, though, did not the No Man's Land end with them offering Raffi to come back? To
I haven't had
Starfleet?
a chance to listen to it.
I don't remember. It might have. I listened to it.
There was,
but I don't remember
think there
that.
was some type of a comment about her being offered a uniform
Okay,
again.
it's certainly
If I remember
possible.
correctly. So
Well, I mean, that does make sense because she left, Picard resigned, and then I think she tried to stay on for a little while, and then she left, she resigned, so, she would want to go back, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I could see if Picard goes back, I could see her wanting to go back too.
Especially as a teacher,
Yeah.
in that context, so, with him there. I feel like that must be a mostly ceremonial position that he's got, because if he can spend the day
back at home.
doing the harvest. I mean, it's nothing to transport from the chateau to the office, but I feel like it's probably not something that requires all of his time.
Yeah.
So we have our first Romulan at the Academy that we know of.
First full Romulan, he said.
Yeah.
We had Tarsus.
Well, Tarsus
that was my
didn't go
thought,
to
too.
the Academy.
Who's half?
He didn't?
No, he was a crewman. He enlisted.
Oh,
You're
okay,
right,
yeah.
'cause he came in through the medical... Yeah.
Now, I mean, again, in the books he does.
I was thinking more like Romulans posing as Vulcan's spying.
Well,
but
yes.
yeah, that works too.
But technically
Yeah.
not even the first full Romulan in the Academy, because we had, what's her name? We had the two from last season. Yeah.
Well, we don't know if they went through the Academy or if they just got replaced
That's true.
or something. Well, no, I guess they would
We had
have.
Savick.
Savick,
Savic's half.
that's another one that's only in the books.
Well, okay, but it was in the script for Star Trek 4, I think, so I'm going to give
It
that
was
one.
in the script, but it was in the original screenplay, but it was not in the what's shown on screen, which is what's canon.
Okay.
Technically, that's
Anyway.
only in the books as well. Man, we're really diving into beta
Let's
canon in this
really
episode.
get nitty-gritty here. All right, so we have Elnor in Starfleet Academy. And,
Canon does not exist.
no, it doesn't. How do you think he's going to do there? He's been there for at least a year, because he's off on his first,
I hope
get
he's
on a
met a
ship
cat
and do
by now.
things. I forgot about that. I'm sure I bet he's met a cat and a Cation. Both.
I was just going to say, he probably met a Cation at the Academy, and he's like, oh my goodness, you're bigger than I thought you were going to be, you cat people. So.
Or he met a Cation first, and then he met a cat and was confused as to why it wasn't interacting with him. Like a,
This cat is,
Really?
this Cation is stuck up.
You think we're going to get a lot of plot points about him putting his foot in his mouth, or other people perceiving him as putting his foot in his mouth? Like Raffi was saying that, how did she put it? That Absolute Candor is going to get his ass kicked or something like that?
I hope not, because I think
too.
Absolute Candor's dumb. I don't know. I still do. Even like after this time, I don't like it. So I hope they don't rely on that too much.
Yeah, I hope we don't see that. I don't think that would be that productive to the story. Also, I think if he's been at the Academy for a year, I feel like that's something that he probably has like already overcome.
Yeah. And actually, come to think of it, we might not see much of him as a cadet anyway.
Right.
Because we've already swapped timelines, so... Anything else we want to say about the Academy? And
I like the cadet uniforms. They're very reminiscent of the DS9 cadet uniforms, complete with the pockets and the legs.
Yes, they are. Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get much out of that right now. It was interesting to find that he went to the Academy. I wasn't expecting that, so that was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, that was a complete surprise to me. Was that a surprise to you, Thad?
It's surprising a little, but not that odd. I mean, he was always sort of trying to find his way, because he was trained as part of the Coatnum a lot, but he wasn't really because he wasn't really supposed to be one of them. That
right.
He was just stuck with them as he was raised with them. So like he was trying to find his way. It's not that strange, especially since he had attached himself to Picard's,
oh, that's true.
whole crusade. Crusade's the wrong word.
Lost
cause. That's
cause.
the word I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not that surprising. You could even see this as just a continuation of that.
So what he's saying is Starfleet is a lost cause.
Possibly.
Sometimes. You started to say, Brandon.
No, it's just I don't think we're going to get much out of it. I thought it was interesting, though, that if they're only been there in the academy for a year, it seems weird that they'd be going off on a ship assignment so soon. Like, that seems like something that happens in, year 4, right? Because Tilly was a 4th-year cadet when she went off, so I think those people in the Valiant were later on in their careers as cadets and whatnot.
Yeah,
so.
Wesley Crusher stayed at the academy for several years.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what they're doing on the ships.
That's true. That may be sort of like a brief, just a short tour, and then they're back at the academy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they've integrated on ship. They looked at what happened with Wesley Crusher, and they're like, "Hey, you can learn well if you're flying by the seat of your pants." So,
Possible.
I don't know.
It worked for Nog.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
So then we see Seven on La Sirena with the amalgamation of all of the holograms together.
Yeah, I miss
that was
the
weird.
Different holograms.
Yeah.
It was an interesting choice, yes.
Yeah. So what do we think about how she's using that ship for the Fenris Rangers?
Well, Picard owed her a ship. It's interesting that he gave her Rios'
somebody
ship.
Else's.
Yeah, well, Rios has a different ship now, so...
Yeah, he does.
Well, he still obviously feels like it's his ship, though, too, right?
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it's not holographic. It's not a holographic 7 that's helping her out here.
Yeah, that should have updated.
Yeah,
She just chose not to. So, that was all. She's like, "This is the property of the Fenris Rangers," but it was all Starfleet stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
I wasn't
Starfleet medical
expecting.
stuff. So, was that stolen goods? Do you think?
I think Starfleet is supplying the Fenris Rangers.
You think so? Because the Fenris Rangers seem like a, I don't know what the word is. I'm looking for, like an under the radar force.
Yeah, I feel like it's the
force.
sort of thing where Starfleet's like, well, we can't publicly do this, but we're gonna keep you doing it because we know that you're doing what we wish we could do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was,
but that's entirely
medical
in
supply.
my head. Like, it's not like we ever see that there's anything that says that.
Yeah, but it was all like medical supplies and food and stuff, right? Yeah, so I mean that's the kind of thing where she might be acting, or the Fenris Rangers might be acting as a go-between. Mm-hmm. Is that where somewhere Trek Corps was talking about? We saw a lot of the old style logos and stuff, because maybe it's just in old Starfleet boxes. You know
that's
what I mean?
a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, because we have to speculate wildly. Well, yeah, she's trying to, or she is protecting the cargo from these people who are trying to take it from her, who apparently just are taking it from her because they want it, and she's an ex-Borg.
Mm-hmm. Who were they?
We never
Don't know.
That's a good question. I think they're Klingons. It sounded like they were talking Klingon or something.
One sounded that way, but then there was the woman. I think it was definitely human, or at least something akin. Yeah, and then she just beams him somewhere. That was fun. We don't know where.
Yeah, I wonder where she beamed to. Probably just out into space. She probably killed him.
Probably. I assume back to whatever ship they came on to try to attack her, but we don't know where she was, so... Yeah. We don't get much of that. I hope we're going to see more of La Sirena.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Because... Well, yeah, I'm really not sure. This scene is just here to, tie them all together, but...
Yeah.
We don't get much information on who she's fighting or why they're there at all.
She's just there. Something happens just to show so that we can see where she is and what's going on in her life at that point. And then she comes across the same subspace, whatever, as the Stargazer.
Yep.
So then that brings us to the Stargazer and Captain Rios.
Well, no, we actually get the android goodwill tour first before we see the Stargazer.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here with this? Okay, because like Girardi's like drunk on this mission. Mm-hmm. She says. So she's broken up with Rios, but they're still working together. Like she says, this whole us working together sounded better before. So is Rios just driving this android around the galaxy?
I think so.
Because Girardi's working with
Soji,
and she just if she's still working with Rios, then that's what Rios is doing is on the android tour, looking at the face of the android that killed his previous captain in front of him, right? Like, or no, because his previous captain killed himself, right? So his previous captain killed himself, right? So, but like, you saw that face because that android was there before. So I don't know. It just seems odd.
Well, I mean, how many diplomats did the Enterprise cart around?
Mm-hmm.
That may have been, when Rios decided to come back to Starfleet, they may have been, well, you have experience with these people, so you can do this.
And also, you kind of went off the deep end and were really drunk and just flying around for a lot of years, so we don't want to necessarily put you somewhere where you need to react quickly.
Yeah, there's that.
We're going to put you on the carrying them around route.
I love that he's just walking around with a cigar and a lighter.
Yes. He never lights the cigar, though.
But he
pretends to.
Sense.
It's like
it's like the lighter.
Yeah.
Yes.
We see the flame in the lighter, and I wonder about that. Like, would you actually be allowed to smoke on the bridge of a Starfleet ship? I feel like
no,
probably not.
Are they even real?
It's like a nervous reaction, right? Like he lights the lighter as if he's lighting his cigar, and then he like makes the motions of smoking, right? So
yeah.
Because, like, the Enterprise in Wrath of Khan had no smoking signs on the bridge, so...
I love that. I love that.
Well, he's not smoking. He is not smoking.
No, he's just chewing on it. It's so much better. I assume those are... at least the cigar is holographic. He might actually have the lighter, but...
Yeah.
You know. That way, even if he does light it up, it doesn't do anything. It's just holographic smoke.
Maybe it's a real cigar and a holographic lighter.
Maybe it's that.
Yeah.
I did think it's funny, though.
So, I want to talk about the uniforms for a second. Because we have new uniforms again. And, like, they're almost like a Tuvix of the previous uniform and Lower Decks combined with, like, the DS9 Voyager uniform and a little bit of All Good Things thrown in there.
Okay, let me ask you this question before we get into that portion. Like, I don't mind that there's new uniforms, but let me ask you this. Okay, what if where we've started is not the continuation of where we ended? What if we've started in an alternate time?
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, I like that.
That's possible.
Okay, because there is so much different right now from where we were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that was somebody pointed that picture online in a chat group that I'm in, and they're like, I don't like that we got new uniforms. And I'm like, well, didn't they say something about time travel? Like, what if these are alternate timelines? They're like, no, this is from the beginning. And then I saw the start of this episode, and I'm like, well, so much has changed. We're just making the assumption that this is the same timeline that we're in right now.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
because
we are, but I think we probably are.
Yeah.
I feel like assuming this is an alternate timeline is sort of like the people who were sure, like, all throughout Discovery that they were eventually going to spore jump into the real timeline. I don't think...
Well, that's Jonathan Frakes' fault.
True.
So...
Well, no, Frakes said there was going to be a Mirror Universe episode. He didn't say they started there. But yes.
True.
But yeah, like, I think I don't think it's actually an alternate timeline. I think this is continuation of the real timeline. It's just there's a lot of changes because they wanted to do changes.
Yeah, that could be that too. It could just be as simple as that.
But like this uniform is just there's nothing truly new about this particular uniform. It's just sort of a combination of a whole bunch of uniforms that we've previously seen put together, which I think is very interesting.
It looks mostly like the Voyager uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's got the collar like the Voyager uniform, but then the neckline of the jacket is different. The jacket is actually has the shoulder thing of like the lower decks uniform, but then it has the little embossed deltas like the Picard uniform did, and we've got the Picard comm badge and pips. But yeah, the jackets feel a little bit. They also with that flap, it feels a lot like the All Good Things uniform or the lower decks uniform. That's why I'm thinking like none of the design choices on this are like new. It's combining a bunch of different uniforms in a particular variation we haven't seen before.
It's because all the timelines are broken and brought together.
The amount of redesign on the uniforms over the last few years has been much for me.
I think we've established for sure at this point that they just use a bunch of different uniforms at the same time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that nobody's
going to get upset.
I mean, technically, we've established that since the 90s, so...
Yeah.
Well, true.
Because there were a couple episodes of late DS9 when they had switched to the first contact style uniforms, but you still occasionally would see extras in the TNG uniforms. So
and the collar difference on Next Gen, and yeah, I know. Somebody's walking around in Monster Maroon. I get it.
Well, they wore the Monster Maroon for like 100 years. So
yeah, okay.
They did, yes. The producers of the show realized they could save money by not redesigning the outfits every year, right? Like, they could put more budget toward the special effects if they did that.
You'd think that, but...
Well, this is the first time they've had all the money they wanted, or close to all the money they could want to.
Yeah, that's true.
They're blowing it on old music and new uniforms.
Yeah.
I don't know, the special effects also look pretty good.
Yes, they do. Yes,
the VFX budget is also high because it's definitely higher than season 1 because we'll get that fleet of different ships instead of all the same ship like we got last season.
Yeah. That was cool.
I mean, you did make the joke about the music at the beginning, Chrissy, but we did get Billie Holiday last season.
Oh, yeah. I didn't mean specific to this episode, just in general with newer Trek.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I love that it's the Stargazer. I think that's a wonderful reference because the Constellation class is my favorite class of ship. I love that design. I think it's awesome. My two favorites are the Constellation and the Miranda class. And I like how this is a nod to the original Constellation class because I love the 4 nacelles.
So your favorite ships are kit bashes of the Constitution?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, isn't everything? I mean... So, did either of you guys see the discussion over the lack of a letter?
Yeah, but it has a different registry and it's a different class, so it is still a different ship. They are not. This has never been consistent. We have had other instances of ships with the same name. It's not just because they sometimes use letters doesn't mean they always do.
I didn't realize the registry number was different. Okay.
Yeah, the registry number is different because the original one was only a 4-digit number, and this is like a 5-digit number.
And it's a different class too. The
all the enterprises were different classes, right?
Okay, so the people that are talking about the lack of the letter, there are some people speculating, it's the same ship just refitted. But if it were that were the case, it would still be the same class.
Yeah,
I'm more upset that they added the A to the Discovery than I am for the lack of the A here or whatever.
Yes.
I'm more upset that they gave it a Voyager J because now they're just like we have to go even farther than the Enterprise because it's Voyager, you know.
The A on the Discovery is to keep up the appearance that it is a new ship and it's not actually from the past because time travel is illegal.
You think people don't know that by now? You think people really don't know that by now? They all know this, okay?
But they can't say it out loud.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't mind because it is a completely different number. I mean, like the Defiant in D Space Nine is a completely different number than the Defiant in TOS.
Also,
right?
there were some people on Twitter were saying, when they talked about where the cadets were being assigned, they mentioned the Excelsior, and there were some people on Twitter were saying, oh, that's the same ship. It's like, there is no way that the NCC 2000 is still flying around.
I don't know, man. Those Excelsior-class ships have been around for a long time.
Excelsior-class is different than the ship itself.
Those things are durable.
Like,
and what
if you compare it, the B-52 bomber has been in active service since 1955 in the U.S. Air Force, but none of the planes from 1955 are still flying. They're just making new planes in that design.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it would be funny if there was a Hikaru Sulu ship that was going out the same time as the Excelsior that he captained.
didn't they say that they
There is a Hikaru Sulu.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there would.
That would be
I mean,
funny.
can you imagine? It's the Hikaru Sulu, which is a new ship next to the ship that Captain Hikaru Sulu captained, and they're in the same dock. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more upset that the Defiant in the end of Deep Space Nine, the finale episode, didn't have an A on it. But hey, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah,
They
that
got a
should've.
special dispensation from Starfleet to use the same registry.
You never change
Because they changed it from a different ship, right? But still should have been the 8. But that's
And that
It
was-
used to be the
matter.
Sao Paulo.
It doesn't matter.
You don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's bad luck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is it really? Is
okay.
that a thing?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're not supposed to change it. Once a ship has been christened, you're not supposed to change it. Unless it's, like, completely taken down and apart and then put back together or, like, sold off to some other company or country. But, yeah.
Interesting.
It's like I guess it's a superstition probably in the U.S. Navy. I don't know. Whenever we watch that, Jay's always like, you can't do that to a ship. You can't. It's bad. It's bad luck. And then he invariably has an example of some ship that got destroyed because they changed the name. But can I remember that now? No. We'll put it on the list for history with the Szilagys. Yeah. Okay. So Rios. Excuse me. So 7 on the La Serena has seen this weird time vortex thingy that's going on that is Borg green, and it's Borg green from the get-go, and everybody should recognize that, but fine. And then the Stargazer sees it, and then we get... we eventually get the Admiral going and seeing Picard, and they have to go look at it, but in between that, Picard wanders down to number 10 Forward Street to have a chat with Guinan.
And when you first see him on that street, you see a thing that looks kind of Cardassian in the background, and it turns out that's actually, believe it or not, a T-shirt stand from Star Trek: The Experience.
That's funny.
That's cool. I missed that. I'll have to look again.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Trekcore had tweeted out about that back when the first shot of that showed up in the trailer, and someone who worked in the Starfleet archives, or the Starfleet archives, the Star Trek archives.
Nice.
That's
what it
said,
is.
it's actually a T-shirt stand from Star Trek: The Experience that they just used as a prop.
And
Funny.
this is why it probably was the same set as the Star Trek 09 Academy scene. Because they just recycle. All right, so what do we think about this? Guinan's back. She's still running a bar. Okay.
Well, it's because Elorians are great listeners.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's right.
I like how they immediately try to shut down all the people who are annoyed at that Guinan is older and therefore but Elorians aren't supposed to age.
I don't remember anywhere that being established.
It was not.
Yeah. So why?
I mean, Soren had gray hair. I mean, they clearly age at some point, right?
No, it was established on screen that they don't age. I don't care. I'm not complaining about it,
Oh.
right?
Where-
That it was established on screen that they don't age because Guinan looked exactly the same in the future in Time Zero Part 2 as she did in the past in Time Zero Part 1 and 2, right?
Okay.
So that's why they're saying they don't age. But I mean, like, obviously,
They
I'm
do
not
age,
stupid.
they just age
I know that.
differently.
Yeah.
I know that Whoopi Goldberg is a human being who ages, right? So
How dare
I
she.
don't know. I didn't care.
Yes.
So
Okay.
But I do find it interesting that they basically used the same excuse for both Guinan and Q.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, since you brought up Q, all right. That was the thing. Once we knew Q was going to be on, of course, that was everywhere on social media. They have to do this. They have to do this. They have to do this. And I am so glad they did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say about that.
It was the only thing that made sense. Of course, of course, that's how they would do it. So,
yeah, but it's awesome.
John Delancey is hot.
John Delancey is hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's never not been, except when they had that weird lipstick on him.
He didn't look good in Voyager. He definitely didn't look good in Voyager.
Well,
but right now
he looked better.
Yeah.
I think he looked better in Voyager than he did in early TNG. Actually,
yeah, he did not look good in Hait and Q.
No, they had that weird haircut on him. But back to Guinan. We'll come back to the Trickster God. Yeah, I hope this isn't all we see of Guinan. But
I love that there's tiny Easter eggs throughout the bar. Like there's Arcanus Lager, and stuff like that, and the Saurian brandy. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Saurian brandy is huge.
I think this might be the only time that we see Guinan this season.
I think
but
I suspect that's probably true. Although I want to see Guinan and Q together.
Yeah. And actually, with a time travel story and a universe jumping story, she actually would be give useful information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had a friend like Guinan.
I think everyone wishes they had a friend like Guinan.
Yeah.
I loved the scene, like when they're sitting there talking and, they're reminiscing after their big hug and whatnot. Because we haven't seen Guinan since Nemesis, right? It was only brief. And before that, we hadn't seen her since Generations, right? Mm-hmm. So it was really great to see her again. But just the way that they were talking, like I felt this long friendship. I felt the friendship between them. The dialogue was there. It was written so well. When she reaches over, she's like, the only thing you've ever been afraid to explore is this right here. And she taps him on his heart. And she asks him, and she's like, what are you not telling me? What have we never talked about? And then she's just like, he won't say anything. She's like, you know what? I understand. I understand that this is a pain that you cannot talk about. So let's have another drink.
Yep.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful to see them on screen together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So then Picard goes home. And the Admiral shows up, and we learn that there's a voice calling for Picard for aid. Mm-hmm. We have to go find out what it is.
Yeah, and I feel like the symbolic thing of her handing out the comm badge to him would have worked better if we hadn't seen him earlier when he made that speech wearing the full Starfleet uniform before.
Yeah, it's like, because I felt like I'm calling you back to Starfleet moment.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but I was just there this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm going to say, I don't know if this is controversial. I don't think they should have started the episode off the way they did. I don't think that the going back in time 48 hours helped the story at all.
I agree.
I think they should have just started with the vineyard.
Yeah, I think that would have worked just fine.
Yeah. Because it's just like there's this terrible thing, and then it goes back, and then when it happens, and then it's undone kind of by Q, I guess. But where was La Sirena and the Stargazer that he got to them so quickly?
I don't know.
Putting that out there, we have no idea. No,
they're. I think they're pretty far away, but we're just things go faster now. Right?
I do like it is very convenient that everybody that the plot has arranged it so that all of our characters are back together at the same spot.
All right, so then we find out it's the Borg, and I thought, what'd you think of that outfit for the Queen?
I really liked it when I saw it on Pulp Fiction.
Okay, so there has to be a reason for this.
Yeah.
Because we know the Borg Queen is in the show. We've seen shots of her from the trailer. Mm-hmm. And she's not wearing a jumpsuit. Is this really the Borg Queen, or is this someone else entirely?
Well, they said they were sending over their queen.
They said they were sending over their queen, But do we know that this is the Borg Queen?
I would assume so. I'm assuming it is.
But why? Why is she in that suit then?
Well, we don't know. That will be revealed. It's a protective suit.
I'm just saying, not showing us her face feels like there has to be a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if it's someone else or something else, or yeah, I don't know.
Who do you think it would be?
I have no idea. I don't have a conspiracy theory for this one.
It's Guinan.
It's probably not Guinan.
It's his mother.
Okay.
It's Admiral Janeway after she was assimilated.
It's from the alternate timeline of Endgame when she was assimilated.
Yes, there we go.
Okay, I got it. I'm with you here, Thad. I'm with you. I dig it.
I'm just saying it could be someone who has co-opted the Borg. Oh, it's Lore!
Lore with a female voice.
Well, that's the least issue there. How are we going to explain
Lore can
Lore's
have whatever
aging?
voice he wants to.
I mean, remember him in Fistful of Datas, right? When he was the brothel
exactly.
lady at the
yes.
end, right? So.
Well, but he's already manipulating it to sound like multiple voices because it's the Borg.
But no,
so
I honestly
at that
don't
point,
really know who it is. I could come up with all sorts of wacky conspiracy theories. I now like the idea that it's Lore. It won't be. But I'm just saying it's... The mask is there for a reason. And...
Yeah.
That means that it's entirely possible. And we've got time travel here, so maybe this is someone else who is co-opting the Borg somehow. And we'll find out later.
Well, we all know that it's going to tie into the Marvel Universe here, right? And this is Alfred Molina.
Oh, there
clearly,
we go.
Right, Dr. Octopus with those tentacles.
Well,
behind
Patrick Stewart is in Doctor Strange too, so...
Yeah, I mean, he is part of the X-Men, right? So... This
Sure.
is where we find out that Disney has actually bought Star Trek, and they're tying it into the Marvelverse.
I don't have a problem with tying it into the Marvelverse, but Disney owning yet something else.
Okay, but if Disney owns Star Trek, then we get Star Trek Land at Disney World.
I'm in.
No, I'm down for that.
Right, see?
But you don't need Disney to make a land. There's a Super Mario Land that they're building, and there's one already in Tokyo, so that doesn't...
Yeah, but if Disney owns it, they would definitely do it at Disney World. Because I was actually just there a couple weeks ago before I went on the cruise at the Star Wars Land, and it's really cool. And I was thinking, man, it would be great if there was a Star Trek thing like this.
True.
Well, Star Trek fans couldn't go. They can't afford it because they got to pay for CBS All Access.
Star Wars fans have to pay for Disney Plus. And that's more expensive, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's the same. I don't remember. Where did we... Oh, the Borg. Right. Okay. Yeah, we'll do some random speculation at the end. I gotta write that down here. Because I have some random speculation. Mm-hmm. Okay, so... They let the Borg, or they converse with them, find out it's a Borg. Did you catch that he had to ask Seven to make sure that it was?
Yes. Well, that's because he doesn't have... Mm-hmm. He's in a brand new body. He doesn't have any of the connections to the Borg that he did when he was in his human body, whereas Seven still does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I talk about the part that I had a bit of a problem with?
Yes.
I mean, can we stop you?
Yes, you can. You could say, no, don't talk about it. But
yes, please talk about the part that you had a problem with.
Okay, I'm a little bit upset that Picard is actually pausing to contemplate an alliance with the Borg.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Seven is the voice of reason in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, does seem out of character for Picard.
Yes. Like, sure, Rios, fine. Jurati, fine. Whatever. Right? They haven't experienced the Borg like we have. Picard? Whoa. That's not right.
Yeah. No, I agree. That didn't feel right at all. And the whole thing of where Rios says, what should we do? And he says, I don't know.
I do like that we get a ready room discussion scene, though. That was very reminiscent of... Mm-hmm. And it even has the model ships of previous Stargazers. It's great.
Yes.
This is the kind of thing I was talking about where I say it feels like this feels more tied to 90s Star Trek than Season 1 did, because we're getting these little things like we used to get that are clearly reminiscent of the sort of things we saw in TNG and et al.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm just disappointed we didn't get a cameo of Riker on a ship in that one if they're sending everybody to the Borg, right? So,
I mean, Riker's got to show up at some point,
clause.
Right?
Yeah, for that clause.
Oh, he's there.
But anyways, any not explanation, but any theories as to why Picard would be contemplating this alliance? Anything? No, because I got nothing.
No, other than that whole thing of, can they be reasoned with? There is this point of why are they asking to join the Federation?
Right.
If they really are asking to join the Federation, which I think they weren't.
Well, they had that Article 15, right? That's why they were...
Yeah. Well, because they knew that if they didn't make some kind of grand overture like that, Starfleet would have just been like, blow you up.
Yeah. There's so much that we need to see where they're going with, because they're like, oh, we want to join the Federation, but first we're going to take your power! Right? And then they just plug in their USB without asking and whatnot, right? So... charging their iPhones and stuff. Like, come on there.
That was weird, yes.
They need power. That didn't
Why
make
do they need power?
any sense.
It did not.
They need.
So
they
we've got
made
some questions.
Yeah, they opened up a rift in space, but they need to take the power from a warp engine and a starship.
Just one starship, too.
Yeah.
Because they're just sending one queen with one really weird USB cable.
Yeah, multiple. That I guess the prefix codes are still there because she was able to connect to all the other ships too. Mm-hmm. I'm beginning to wonder if that was real or if that was Q.
Well,
okay, let's pause on this.
Yeah.
So Q has taken people and put them in funny situations before, but he's never misled them. Mm-hmm. Right? He's either been there and be like, I'm going to teach you a lesson, or he takes a situation that they're in, and there's always this assumption that Q has caused these things. And, so...
But he never actually has.
He did with Cupid. So with Cupid, he did.
Okay,
right?
he
and the
usually
Q and the
hasn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
Q and the
but
Gray, yes and no.
Well, Q and the Gray, that's... Yeah, he caused
Yeah.
That's the Q continuum as perceived by us. So no, he didn't really cause that. You're right. But Hait and Q, there's always this scenario when it's something that Q has caused, you clearly know it's something that Q has caused.
It's weird. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to just, Yeah.
Where in Deja Q, they're like, Q, this is your fault that this asteroid is coming in to crash on us. Why do you do this, Q? And it's like, hey, Picard, where have you been every time you've dealt with Q? This is clearly not caused by Q.
Well, and even
right?
Q who?
Q who with the Borg?
Yeah, I mean, to just put too fine a point on it, right?
Yeah, but he sends them somewhere, right?
That's what I'm saying is that he doesn't invent the Borg.
Right. So I don't think this is something that's caused by Q.
No, I agree. No. I don't think it's caused by Q, and in fact, I don't think Q is responsible for any... I think Q is trying to, in his own annoying Q way, trying to help Picard, trying to get Picard to solve this.
Like Tapestry. This has given me vibes of Tapestry right off the start here. And I hope this doesn't just turn into a tapestry thing, but it probably will, right, where he goes through a bunch of stuff. But I don't know, I'm not going to judge it yet because we're too early in. This is only chapter 1, right? Yeah. So but this is just giving me Tapestry vibes right off the bat.
Yeah. I think we may have Borg with teeth again, to use, as people often complained with Voyager, that the Borg were Defanged. Yes, thank you. That's the phrase I lost there. Picard has authorization to blow up the Stargazer without Rios going, okay.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
That was weird.
But I would boil that down to...
And if you go back to TNG, he couldn't even do it himself on his own ship. He needed Riker's second. So, yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
I would... So, I mean, in my head, I would boil that down to, like, a level of authority, right?
So
like,
admirals can blow up any ship they want?
Yes, I would boil it down to that, right? Like, so... But I realize that might be silly, so...
No, I do see where you're coming from there.
I feel like that's a really bad precedent to set in Starfleet, considering how many times admirals go rogue.
That's a fair objection.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, no one person should be able to set a self-destruct sequence, period. But, so that's that being out there is just a little piece that doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know if it's going to come back to mean anything. But I did want to bring it up because I feel like it's possible that is a clue.
Okay.
And not necessarily that what we're seeing isn't real or seeing, was made by Q or anything like that, but maybe that we're seeing a different end of things. You know, seeing it from a different perspective, from a different place. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Q seems to have his fangs back too. And he was another one who was arguably defanged by Voyager. I'm basing that mostly on the preview of the coming season on, with the whole thing about this isn't. How did he say? This isn't a test; it's a penance.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
That was in the trailer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in the coming this season on. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. So.
Okay. So what do we think of Q being back?
I've always had sort of a love-hate relation, like with Picard, I suppose. A love-hate relationship with Q. There are some instances of Q that I really like, some that I find incredibly annoying. But I think it works. It certainly works as the end of this episode to give us a definite, like, what is going on here? I loved the introduction. I love how he shows up looking like 90s John Delancey and then snaps his fingers and turns into Silver Fox John Delancey. That was perfect.
I like that.
I'm intrigued by Q being here. I've always loved Q. I don't think there's any Q episodes that I don't like. I think Q's a great character. But he feels like just because he's always been a story of the week character. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting that we're going to be having this arc where he's involved. And I'm very intrigued by the possibilities of that. So I'm very optimistic about it because I love Q as a character.
Yeah. I wonder how much we're going to see him in the arc.
Interesting question. Yeah.
Is he not in season 3 as well? Did he not already spoil that he's in season 3 as well?
If he did, I don't remember it.
I don't recall that either.
I'm pretty sure Delancey said that he's also in season 3.
So, okay. I don't know about that. I will say there was one thing that I heard. Hold on. The morning after we saw the episode on the cruise, we had a Star Trek Picard Q&A panel with John Delancey, Issa Baronis, and Evan Evangoria, because they were the Picard actors on the ship. And one of the things John Delancey... It was funny because, like, Evan and Issa kept saying, "Oh, are we allowed to talk about this?" And John was like, whatever. Because he knows they're not going to fire him. And let me pull up the quote, because it definitely...
I hope it's not a major spoiler.
It's not a major spoiler.
I don't want spoilers.
No, we're not talking Jonathan Frakes level spoiler territory here.
Yeah. Or John Delancey type spoiler territory. I'm on Picard for 2 seasons.
But what he did say is that the character of Q loves Picard. There is an urgency to what he wants Picard to do, what he needs Picard to do in this season. So that... implies to me that Q needs Picard to do something to save whatever.
He's got to fix things.
Yeah.
Again.
Because Q has cancer.
Quancer.
Yeah.
God.
Cancer with a Q.
If he is in season 3, then I'm going to go back to my speculation that has always been what the end of Picard will be, the man and the show, and that is being brought into the continuum by Q. And that this entire thing
makes sense, yes.
Yeah. That the entire story between them was a test.
And it'll be Jean-Luc Picard, Luke with a Q, L-U-Q, and then Picard is P-I-Q-A-R-D.
What?
Well, Jean-Luc, yeah.
No, I heard you.
You can spell that with a Q. Picard. No, I've always, since they announced that Picard was coming back for this show and it was going to be older Picard and all of that, and I'm like, he's going to end up in the continuum by the end of this. I just feel like that's a good ending for him. Mm-hmm. Don't know why. Don't know where I got the idea, but it's just...
I think we're also going to get the entire TNG cast at the very end of season 3 too.
Or at least in bits and pieces over the course of. Yeah.
I think they're all going to be in the same room together.
Okay.
Just as long as Pulaski's there too.
That'd is never going to happen.
Better save Pulaski. Start a Twitter thing. That I'm not on there. Start a Twitter thing.
Well, that only works if Dinah Mulder is in a position to and willing to.
I think she's on the record saying, 30 years ago that she never wants to do Star Trek again. I don't know if
that's because fans were terrible last 30 years ago, and
you think they'll be better now?
Have the movement. They don't have the movement that you and I have started here, Thad. With the
I mean, I would watch Star Trek Pulaski if she gets her own show.
Yeah, me too. I'd be down.
Didn't she say that though because of the makeup from Unnatural Selection?
Well, I think she said it because she didn't. She found the entire whole situation of doing the show as being a whole awful like the people and which from what we've heard about season 2 that doesn't actually surprise me.
Yeah, she was put in a bad position replacing somebody and then being replaced by that somebody. So
yeah,
with Gates McFadden.
Well, she was never a star. She was always just a special guest star.
Yes.
Right.
Special guest star Diana Muldaur. So, it's interesting. It was a good end of the episode. Mm-hmm. I'm stoked. Where are they? It feels like the Mirror Universe, but I don't think it is the Mirror Universe, right? So, what is this going to be? Picard's wearing black, therefore he's evil in this timeline, right? Because evil people wear black,
that's obviously
right. So that's just what they wear. But I'm intrigued. What is that thing around the planet? This Tholian web that's going on here.
I mean,
around the planet.
I think it's... I don't know. I actually don't know what it is.
Well, I thought it was interesting that they brought the data android, the android from season 1 from Mars.
Yeah.
Is his servant
So, he talks
here?
about it's the solar shield. So I'm wondering, do we not have, do we no longer have, an ozone layer or something?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the impression I got, that it's maybe a weather control system, but a more intrusive one.
COVID has mutated and destroyed our atmosphere?
What?
Sure.
Possibly, I guess.
I mean, they're going to a big city 2 years from now. Yeah, I'm going to say somebody's going to get COVID.
One of my favorite things that I saw someone suggest on Twitter is that the character Brent Spiner plays is just going to be Brent Spiner 2 years in the future.
No, that's good. I like that. He's a student. Didn't they call him Eric?
Is he not going to be Alton?
Preview? No. He's in the
past, and Alton is in the.
Oh, good lord!
Yeah, this is
those Soong genes. Really, they breed strongly.
I didn't realize he was in the past. I thought he was just Alton Soong.
No, he's a 20th century Soong.
Okay, now I'm even more upset. I mean, this is just ridiculous at this point.
Well, if you think about it, though, that would be maybe was it Eric Soong that was on Enterprise?
It was Eric Soong on Enterprise. Yeah,
it was with ridiculous then too.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying they've established that, so this would be his great grandfather at most. So
yeah, and if he can still look the same then to that, if he can look the same from the 22nd to the 24th, what's the 21st? Mm-hmm. The Sung genes breed strongly from generation to generation.
Maybe we're going to find out, actually, that this is what set them on the whole... I mean, I know we already heard about that from him not doing genetics, but that this is going to set him on the whole track of being the Sung who makes the Sung-type androids.
Maybe this is how the Sung starts doing genetics.
Yeah.
Because, we already got that from Enterprise. He was doing genetics, and at the end of Enterprise, maybe cybernetics is the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So lame.
I like it. I just think at this point it's been so overdone.
I like the Augment arc.
See, look, I am an equal
I love that story.
I'm an equal opportunity critic of Star Trek, and I could say that old Star Trek is just as lame as some of the stuff in new Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there were plenty of lame things in Enterprise, but I actually liked the Augment arc.
Oh,
I
if
like
it
that
didn't have Brent
storyline,
Spiner,
too.
I'd love it even more.
Okay.
And
Well.
if they didn't try and explain the Klingon foreheads, it would be perfect, because it's just dumb.
Yeah, I did not like that part, but that wasn't the Augment arc. That was the Klingon arc that spun off from the Augment arc.
Oh yeah, that's right, the second one. Yeah. But it spun off the Augment arc, yes. So, anywho.
Yeah.
Oh boy, what an episode! That was an episode of Star Trek. This was so damn good, and this is legit. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for. I loved every second of this episode. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That sounds like a good final thoughts.
Indeed.
Do we have any random speculation that we haven't covered already?
I think we're going to see Q again next week.
There you go. That makes sense.
Yeah, the only speculation I've got is what I was saying. I think it's something that Q needs Picard to fix.
Okay.
It says he needs his spare tire changed on his car.
On his quar.
Okay. Well, I will say I'm gonna plug another history with the Szilagys for the Chrissie's History Corner for Jacques Cartier, who apparently had a Picard along with him when he was traveling in New France. So that'll be either Thursday. Let's see. That'll either be the Thursday after this episode drops or the next Tuesday. I can't remember how he ever worked out. So look for Jacques Cartier on History with the Szilagys.
We'll do it. Excellent.
All right.
Canon connections?
Yeah, I totally forgot about Canon. Well,
I got mine. My favorite one.
Yes, please.
0, 0, 0. Destruct 0.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, my favorite was probably the bottle of Saurian brandy. I like that.
Yeah.
This was all canon connections.
Yeah, the whole episode was just one nonstop canon connection.
Did you see the photo and somebody posted in that other chat group that I'm in there on a bar in Guinan's on the wall in Guinan's bar? There's a picture, that Sears photo style that's Troy and Guinan and Beverly.
Yes,
but Troy's been cut out of the picture. Mm-hmm. So it's just Guinan and Beverly Crusher in the photo. So
yeah, I saw some people on Twitter saying when we said we wanted Beverly to show up in season 2, this is not what we meant.
Two very important women in Picard's life, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, say what you about that.
I just think it's funny that they cut out Troy out of the picture.
Yeah, that is weird.
It is weird.
Because it was just it was a promotional photo from season 3 or 4. So.
Also, something that we should probably mention, there were a few ships in that fleet were from classes that were introduced in the video game Star Trek Online.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. I had forgotten about that. Yeah, that is cool. In terms of the canon connections, we had the Hikaru Sulu and the Excelsior, and then we also had a Grissom. Mm-hmm. So that was cool.
Yep. Hopefully, it won't have the same fate as its predecessor.
Yeah, hopefully.
But hopefully it's an updated... We see it, and it's an updated design of the Grissom from Star Trek 3.
Which would be cool.
It's the new version
because the Oberth is a terrible ship, and they should never reuse it.
I want to see a new, updated Oberth, for sure.
Yeah. And then I'm going to say everything in Picard's house. Because,
yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you guys ever watch Honest Trailers?
Yes.
Yes. Have you seen it, Brandon?
I've seen some, yes.
Okay. They did one for the new Ghostbusters movie, and they made a joke about how it was all references. Yeah. And I kind of felt that way about this episode of Picard, but like in a good way.
I liked the new Ghostbusters movie too, actually.
I love the new Ghostbusters movie. That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
It was okay.
That's fine. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was fine. I don't know. I
mean, it wasn't as good as the original Ghostbusters, obviously, but
no.
The way
I'm not in a rush to see it again.
This actually explains why Brandon doesn't like it, but I view it sort of as like the Star Wars episode, the Star Wars Force Awakens version of Ghostbusters, because like it was basically like, in a lot of ways, a thematic retelling of the first one in the future with a lot of, and which is why you hated it, because you also hate that movie.
Yeah, they should have just called it Ghostbusters then.
They already tried that.
Yeah. Or The Ghostbusters.
No,
they should have called it The Ghostbusters.
But we already had another movie called Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Which I also didn't hate.
I didn't hate that one either. I liked that one. I liked that one too.
I just want to know who, other than Janine, the secretary, was interested in Egon enough to have a child with him.
Good question.
Because I really was expecting that she was going to be the mother. Anyway, we digress.
Can I tell you my theory as to why Troy's not in that picture?
Oh, yeah.
They had a huge falling out. Guinan and Beverly Crusher and Troy had a huge falling out after Troy married Riker, because Beverly slept with Riker when he had the host in him, and Guinan slept with Riker after they were doing that flirting in that season 2 episode where they were showing Wesley Crusher what to do. So Troy just couldn't handle dealing with these women who'd slept with her husband.
Sure.
That's an interesting thought. I'm going to go with they didn't want to pay Marina Sirtis.
More, because they'd already paid her from last season.
Right, exactly. Like, that's my thought process is more that they didn't want to have to pay Marina Sirtis anything for it.
Well, Brendan's is more fun.
Brendan's is more fun. You are not wrong. But the fact that Beverly and Guinan were both at their wedding.
She found out after the fact.
No, she knew that Beverly slept with Riker. In fact, Beverly talks to her about it in that episode.
Yeah.
But then she couldn't handle it anymore. She just became this really super possessive wife after she got married to Riker, and she just became miserable. And, like, she tried to shank Beverly once. This is all in my head canon, okay? I know that it's not on screen.
Your head is a very strange place, Brandon.
I don't even know where to go with that.
She was in 10 forward, and she took a bottle of Saurian brandy and smashed it and attacked Guinan with it. We can move on.
Please.
I've read Stranger fan fiction, so we'll go with that.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I've read some weird fan fiction, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if they were clothed during it, that's already, something over so much of the fan fiction, so. Listeners, we want to hear what you have to say about Picard in the Federation Council chambers, and you can tweet at us. All of our Twitters are in the show notes and listed every episode at the end of it, except for this one. And next time, we will be talking about the next episode of Discovery, for which we don't have a title yet. And then after that, we'll be talking about the next episode of Picard, which is called...
I have a title.
You do?
I found the title for it. I do, yeah. It's called We Still Don't Know Who 10C Is.
I have fallen for that every week.
I'm calling it right now that we're going to find out who 10C is at the very end of next week's episode of Discovery.
Yeah.
I've said that for 3 weeks now, so I give up.
Yeah, but it makes sense now.
Okay.
Because it's the penultimate episode, so then we'll get a week to stew about it, and then we'll get the final, climax.
Okay.
I'll just be really disappointed if we find out that it's just the band 10cc with one less member.
I'm glad you're editing this one. Right, so we'll be talking about that, and we'll be talking about the next episode of Picard, which we do have the title of, and it is Penance.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Until then, listeners, peace and long life.
Yeah, that Troy, man, she just got miserable after she got married. She just was angry and everything. It's really weird. I'm writing that story right now.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.
Now, we don't have any news this episode because we did it the last episode that we released a few hours ago. So if you're listening to this right when it comes out, because you're awake at 3 a.m. Eastern time for some reason.
I feel your judgment.
Well, no, okay, yeah. Yeah, you could be working night shift, you could have a kid. I shouldn't say that. And there's lots of other reasons to be awake at that time, too.
Ooh, my.
What?
Sorry.
He made a sex joke.
I'm sorry.
I said there's lots I meant to say there's lots of reasons to be up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, and I said, oh, my.
Okay. I thought very good. I didn't hear you. This is going to go at the end now. Okay. Oh, I've had a day. Okay.